JBN, we keep you informed. Cop no charge with wife's murder. The detective corporal who was arrested in connection with the death of his wife last week at their home in Tower Isle, St. Mary, has been charged with murder. The accused, Kirk Lawrence, was scheduled to appear in the St. Mary Parish Court yesterday, Friday, June 7. He was charged last Wednesday following a ruling from the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions DPP, Paula Llewellyn. Reports are that about 6:30 a.m., the cop and his wife, 45-year-old Janet R.D. Lawrence, were engaged in an argument at their house in Jamaica Beach, Tower Isle. Residents reported that they then heard loud explosions and alerted the police. On their arrival, the now accused officer, who is assigned to the Trelawney Police Division, was found by his fellow law enforcers at the entrance to the house. Hardy Lawrence was found with several gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at hospital. According to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, which probed the case, the police found 2 guns, a service pistol and a licensed firearm, which were assigned to or belonged to the accused policeman, and 12 spent shells on the scene. The detective corporal was reportedly questioned in the presence of his attorney on Monday, and a file was subsequently sent to the DPP. Man to serve 25 years for murder of Simpson Miller's bodyguard. The man who fatally shot the bodyguard of former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller over 11 years ago has been sentenced to 25 years for murder and 15 years for the offense of robbery with aggravation. The sentences, which were handed down in the Home Circuit Court on May 31, 2019, are to run concurrently. The accused is to serve 15 years before being eligible for parole. Justice Evan Brown, in handing down the sentence, considered the 12 years that the accused had spent on remand. Therefore, the date of eligibility commenced on October 4, 2007, which was the date he was placed into custody. As such, the accused would have a remaining 3 years before being eligible for parole as at the date of sentencing, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution said in a statement. The accused man, Veron Irving, was on trial for the murder of Sergeant Edgerton Brown, who was shot dead while visiting his girlfriend's house on Sundown Crescent in St. Andrew. He was convicted last year. The 7-member jury on December 14 last year returned a unanimous guilty verdict against Irving on 2 counts of robbery with aggravation and 1 count of murder. Facts presented to the court said at about 7 p.m., Sergeant Brown and his girlfriend were sitting in his motor car when they were pounced upon by Irving and another man known only as Tyson. The policeman and his girlfriend were ordered to exit the car before Irving and his accomplice robbed Brown of the vehicle, cellular phone, and cash. During the robbery, a struggle ensued between Irving and Brown, at which point the girlfriend ran from the scene. The accused and his crony subsequently got hold of Brown's licensed Glock 17 9mm pistol firearm and used it to shoot the sergeant. They then left the scene in Brown's motor car, which they later abandoned close by at a place called No Man's Land on Bay Farm Road. Sometime later, the deceased girlfriend returned to the scene, saw Brown, and took him to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. During the trial, which was prosecuted by attorney Kathy Ann Pike and Crown Counsel Celine Ogilvie, one of the 19 witnesses who were called by the Crown gave evidence that sometime after Sergeant Brown's murder, Irving admitted to shooting Portia's bodyguard. He further stated that a few days after Irving's confession, he asked him to secure the same firearm that was taken from the murdered policeman. Residents avoiding Maypen like the plague. The high incidence of violent crime in the Maypen Business and Market District has sent jitters through business operators and shoppers in usually crowded streets, causing many to stay away altogether from the Clarendon capital. One business person feeling the heat is restaurant owner Sharon Iron Francis, owner of a deli and restaurant located at the newly built Elite Plaza in Maypen. Following the murder of 60-year-old vendor Patricia Harriet in the town, Francis said she has suffered a big loss in sales. I had to take the food to the Maypen Infirmary. It was a big shaving pan of rice and peas and big shaving pan of fried chicken, she said. Business has not picked up since then, as she said that shoppers who used to mill around are now making shotgun buys and rushing back home. Business is really slow right now, she said. President of the Live, Love, Laugh youth movement, Roger Lewis, whose organization marched against child abuse in the town of Maypen last Friday, said that even as he pushed out in faith, he was fearful. Business and shopping confidence has plummeted, operators say. I was in one of the Chinese stores yesterday and I had to be looking behind me because I was afraid. I felt nervous. As I got there, just hurry up and try to get a taxi out of the town, he said. 2 Sundays ago, a Chinese operated supermarket was targeted by 8 masked gunmen toting high powered assault weapons who stole $3 million. 2 policemen were injured in the shootout that lasted several minutes. 3 suspects have since been arrested. Lewis is calling for Maypen to be declared a zone of special operations, a security mechanism the government has used since 2017 to flood the streets with police and soldiers initially, before phasing in social interventions, community engagement, and infrastructural upgrades. Zozos have effected reductions in crime in Mount Salem, St. James, and West Kingston. I am living in fear. I am walking in the town and I'm wondering if persons are being targeted at random, said Lois. Rosemary May, who lives in the troubled community of Junior Crescent, said these days she avoids Mapen like the plague. If I don't have to go to Mapen nowadays, I don't, cause when I do, I just hurry up and get out of the town, as you never know what's going to happen when and how, she said. She said she doesn't know a moment's peace until her children are home, as they have to pass through the town to get a taxi. The minute them leave school, I start calling them and don't stop until I get home. If I don't get them on the phone, I feel like I'm going to die, she said. May said it pains her heart that her beloved community has been overrun by criminals, adding that she's distraught by the characterization of persons on social media, some of whom are calling for God to wipe out the entire parish. Not everyone in Clarendon is involved in wrong. There are many who are working hard and involved in organizations trying to make a difference, May said. Only prayer can help me up in my parish now. Security Supervisor Eric Bryan, who works in the town, says he has to be on the alert at all times, adding that he no longer feels safe commuting in the capital. Walking in the town, you have to be scanning the faces. You're more like an observer. When you're inside your complex, you can't drop your guard for a second, he said. Still no decision in Kartel's appeal. It has been almost a year since Vybz Kartel's appeal, and although the DJ's fans are anxious to hear a verdict, they'll have to wait a while longer. We have to wait for the Court of Appeal to hand down their judgment. We have not been told by them that it is ready, so we continue to wait, Kartel's attorney Valerie Nita Robertson said. I plan to go and inquire next week, she added. When asked about Kartel's health, she revealed that her client is receiving adequate medical attention. They take him out of the prison from time to time to receive medical treatment, and he is undergoing medical care, she said. Kartel, the self-proclaimed world boss, has had a number of medical episodes since being imprisoned. These incidents have seen him being hospitalized, and they have also sent his Gaza fans into a panic. The most recent episode was in March, when reports emerged that he had been taken to the University Hospital of the West Indies for treatment. At that time, Nita Robertson said that he had not been feeling well for a few days and had been treated at the hospital. He was discharged soon after. She also confirmed that Kartel is suffering from a thyroid problem. However, at the time, she said there was no cause for concern about her client's health. Meanwhile, Bert Samuels, the lawyer for one of Kartel's co-accused, Sean Storm, noted that the 11 months wait is totally normal and he continues to wait patiently. We are under so much pressure from the client, but we want the court to give us a good judgment, so we do not take on the court, he said. When asked if he had any idea when the Court of Appeal would hand down the judgment, he declared, none whatsoever. He added, however, that his client is very anxious to be vindicated and believes that he has good grounds for his appeal. He is hoping that his appeal will be allowed and that there will be no order for a retrial. Are our teachers sex predators? Teachers in Jamaican schools are coming under increasing scrutiny from the police over a spate of sexual assault cases in which students as young as 12 have been targeted by predators. Police statistics indicates that in Kingston and St. Andrew alone this year, detectives at the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse have investigated 375 reports, with children accounting for 85% of the victims. So we now no longer tell persons to be careful of strangers. So what do we tell them? These are our fathers, our stepfathers, our stepmothers, our brothers, our uncles, our cousins who are abusing our children, she said. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.